What is up, YouTube? I've been getting a bunch of questions from you guys on how I started working on cars, how I learned to work on BMWs, if I do all my own work on these cars, and the answer is yes. And a lot of that wouldn't be possible without me having this garage. And I realize I've done a bunch of videos in this garage talking to you guys with how-tos, DIYs, my opinion on stuff, and I've never really given you the runaround on this place. And none of this would be possible without this garage. And believe it or not, I actually bought my house mostly just for this garage. That's how much I love these cars. So I am going to give you the full tour, and I have a lot of cool little things in here that make working on BMWs so much easier. So I want to show you guys that, and I'd love to hear if you guys have cool little setups, things I can add to my own garage, because it's definitely a work in progress. But before you sit in front of the computer or your phone watching me show you guys this for 10 minutes, let's break it up with a little bit of 1 series action. I want to give you guys a ride in this thing because clearly you guys love this. So let's go have a little fun first. It's been a couple days since I've started this thing, so it's definitely going to have a little bit of a cold start, but let's get to it. Too much traffic. Maybe there'll be enough room for us to do a short little pull. Woo! I love this car. Well, it's dark now because those errands took a little longer than I expected, but we're on the way back home. Woo! This thing hits 100 kilometers per hour. So fast. Alright, now that we are back home in the garage here, the first order of business, and this is one of the best things I've done for this garage, like by far. You might be able to tell there's a little light down there from the garage door, and also I installed some LED shop lights. But I have 2 other sets of lights, those for cars, and then these suckers. These are bright. So these, you might be able to see up here, are basically a corncob style LED bulb. This screws into your normal bulb socket, and I have 6 total in the garage. And let me tell you, this makes a world of a difference when you're trying to work on cars. So that is one of my favorite modifications I've done to this garage so far. Everything I go over is going to be down in the description below. I'll include a link to the stuff with the best price, and I also have some discounts for you guys. Speaking of that, I'm going to dive into the 2 other creature comfort items that I love the most about this garage. One of those being this sweet new mini fridge with an LED. Believe it or not, this tiny little mini fridge can hold 84 cans of Bud Light, if you're like me, or Pepsi, anything you're drinking. 84 cans. That is 7 12 packs fit in this tiny little fridge. So the guys over at New Air hooked me up with this, and I'm loving it so far compared to what was in there before. This nasty, dirty, old Look, even got some freaking weeds in here because I had it outside of the garage for a little bit. But this is way better than that. So keeps it cool. Has got an adjustable cooling knob here for, you know, whatever you're storing in here. These are ice cold, and then a LED light that just looks pretty cool. So I've got that from them because I was redoing this whole garage, and this fan, believe it or not, this tiny little fan. I'm not gonna lie, when I unboxed this, I think it's 18 inches. This is the old fan I've been using here in the garage. Busted out, really old. I unboxed this being smaller, I was like, oh man, it's not even gonna be, you know, nice as this one. Until I turned it on, and there's no other way for me to show you guys how awesome this little fan is. I'm just gonna turn them both on high. So right now these fans are both on, and I'm gonna take this little piece of plastic bag that I ripped apart and show you in front of this fan. Okay, let's move around a little bit, right? Then you bring it over here, like this thing wants to take off. Yeah, all the way over there real quick. So this fan kicks ass. I don't know if you guys have been dealing with the same heat wave that we have been, but it has been sweaty hot. And this fan has been awesome, not only because it's smaller, but it looks nicer, and it's completely adjustable. So if you're working on a car, you know, standing over a car like this, getting a nice belly full of air, that is awesome. You can aim it around however you need. 3 adjustable speeds on the back here. So those 2 things from New Air are kick ass. I would highly recommend them. And you guys should know by now, I don't promote stuff on this channel if I don't like it, but I will give a shout out to the stuff that is, you know, exceeding my expectations, and these 2 products from New Air have done exactly that. So you guys can use discount code Spence, my last name, S-P-E-N-C-E, at newair.com and get 15% off of either of these items. So that info will be down in the description below, but let's dive into some other cool stuff I've been doing. New 32-inch smart TV to watch all my YouTube boys on. Shout out to Budget Beamers. You guys gotta get a Vice after watching that latest video. This thing's been killer. If you don't have a Vice in your garage, these are one of the, I just picked this up at Harbor Freight and it has been great. It even has a channel lock part down here for piping and that sort of thing. Just a cheap Vice. Put it on any bench in your garage and you will thank me later. This has been a lifesaver. So aside from that, I just installed, and you know, you can see that TV. What was in there before was this TV. I never even used that TV. That's just what came in the garage. This garage is really nice. The previous owner painted the ceiling tiles, as I'm sure you guys have noticed in some of my videos. But other than that, I reorganized everything. They had tons of shelving over here. I reorganized it, add this tire shelf. You guys can build these. Like, this is also a lifesaver to get some space up off the ground. As you can see here, it looks like I need to build another one. But yeah, this is literally just a couple 2x4s, support on each side and in the middle, and then I drilled the backing into the studs of the wall and just have some chain, a screw here, and an eye hook up top into more studs. So it's got 3 chains total, a bunch of 2x4s, and I've had tons of wheels up on this over the 3 years I've been here. I could have extended it more, but there's an access panel for my attic up there. This panel drops down and I didn't want to block that off. And obviously I couldn't run it all the way over to the side of the garage here because I still needed this door to open. So I'd like to build another one if I can find some space, because obviously I've got more tires here. But other than that, as far as technology goes, this is just a cool creature comfort as well. It's a Bluetooth wireless stereo receiver, and I can pretty much play anything wirelessly from my phone to the multiple speakers that you'll see up in this garage. And that is just making life easier when you're working on cars. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you're jamming out or watching DIY videos. So that's the big plus of having this TV out here, is you're not sitting on your phone. You can just look up the video you need. It'll play through the speakers. You can watch it step by step on that sort of stuff. Or if you have friends like me that'll come over and crush a couple Bud Lights and hand you a tool every once in a while, they can stay entertained with that. So that just makes living in this garage a much nicer area. These creature comforts that I've shown you guys, I'm sure everyone has their own space. But as far as the actual technical stuff, I have a full cherry picker that I just lent out to my buddy who's S52 swapping his E30. But having an engine support brace here, this has been crucial many times, holding up the engine in the 135 when I installed the twin turbos, doing motor mounts, you know, any type of work like that. This little piece from Harbor Freight comes in real handy. I also picked this up when I blew the motor in the 135, and that's actually what's over in this corner here. It's kind of a crappy spot to put it, but if anyone's wondering what a blown up N54 looks like, here's a good look at it. The plan is to, over time, obviously build this to handle even more power and put it in that car if something were to ever happen to the stock motor that's in there now. I should really be knocking on wood, because this thing has been problem free and it's been kicking ass. So I'm holding on to that for the long term. But yeah, engine stand comes in big time when you're doing any of that work. Other than that, solid floor jack, low pro floor jack from Harbor Freight. This thing has been awesome. I've had this for many years, probably going on 6 years. And that's been able to get under any car I've had. I used to have some older, crappier jacks over here. I still hold on to them for some reason. But even anything like this, if you guys are just starting out, a lot better than nothing. And obviously, anytime you're jacking up a car, be sure to use jack stands. I've got an assortment with some wheel chocks here. Don't get under there with just a jack under it. That's no good. One thing, you know what, I'm just gonna go talk about it now. I'm thinking about potentially putting a lift in here. There are a Max Jacks offers a smaller, like I think they go up to about this tall, the posts themselves. So you can raise it all the way up to the garage height ceiling. This is only 9 feet, so that's kind of the only limiting factor of this garage. But even if I could get the roof of this car all the way up to the roof of the ceiling, that would give me like a solid, I think it's around 6 feet, 5 or 6 feet. Yeah, I think it's about 5 feet under the car. I'd love to hear if anyone here on this channel has that Max Jack system. So I basically drill in and put one right underneath the garage door opener here, and I'd move that shelf over to the right and then put the other post in there. And then this would be like a mobile lift station, and then I always can park a car here, and in the winter I actually I roll these carts out of the way, move this stuff out of the way, and I put my 135 on these rollers over here. These are a huge lifesaver if you guys are working on your car for an extended period of time or storing it. Again, Harbor Freight, I get a ton of my stuff at Harbor Freight. You put the wheels on these and you can push the car around on a flat surface. So that's what I do. I put that on there, roll it all the way up, push it against the wall, and then I'm still able to park 2 more cars in here in the winter. And you may be wondering what this is all about. I got these containment mats on Amazon. I can't remember what they cost. They might be a little bit spendy, but they are totally worth it because this garage isn't graded properly. The surface of the floor is a little uneven and there's no drains at all in here. So my first winter in this garage, I would park a car in, all the snow would melt off, and it would drizzle all back behind all these wooden cabinets, and it was no good. So I weighed my options, and these for like 200 bucks, I want to say. I bought 2 of them. The other one's up, stored over there. Because in the winter, I'll lay those down and it catches everything. And then you can just kind of pull it out or just squeegee it out of the garage there, and it works wonders. Even in the rain. That's why I keep this one in here. Just for any car that's dealing with the rain, gets parked in here for some reason, it'll just drip off onto there. Eileen bought me this creeper. This is awesome. It's kind of a curved back, nice cushion, big wheels that don't get caught on your 10 mil sockets. So she got me this for Christmas, and I've been using it a ton because it's just comfy. It's much better than your regular creeper. I'm not a huge guy on tools, so I will buy stuff when I need it, not get this $10,000 box with a case full of tools and whatnot. I'll buy it when I need it, and I usually get the best value I can. So this is just filled with a variety of tools. This tool case was given to me when I turned 17, I think, 17 or 18 by my stepdad. And I've just filled it over time with a variety of items. And if you guys are just starting out, that's honestly what I would recommend. Don't go crazy buying tools. Just get what you need and grow from there. I actually had this for years. This again when I was like 18. How many pieces is this here? 169 piece toolkit, and this gets 90% of my work done. So that's what I would recommend. I bought another tool case when I moved into this garage just for more space because I'm filling it up. But other than that, yeah, when you need a tool, go buy it online. Don't, you know, if you have the money, by all means, if you have the money, fill up a tool case. But I would rather put money towards a race car. This car would not be where it is right now if it weren't for me swinging my own wrenches, saving on that labor, and not just dumping tons of money into all the tools, because you can get crazy with some tools and they get spendy. So let's see what else we got. Typical roller chair, I'm sure you guys got that. Garbage can out of a barrel here. Various extension cords. I installed this a long time ago. This has been awesome. It's basically a extension cord that's always plugged in. You got 3 plugs, and this will reach outside way into the garage, and then at the end of the day you just retract it back up into its spot up there. So that's nice. Compressor. I have an air compressor back behind this angled area here. There's insulation back there, so it's nice and quiet when it's on. That replaced my old tiny, I don't even know how many gallon this is, couple gallon compressor, but I've got a 30 gallon nice compressor back there. The door swings open with a handle if you need to get in there, but otherwise I just plug it in there and it kicks on. Got an air line that runs here, and it's really neat actually. I've got multiple air outlets all throughout the garage. So there's an air outlet there I can connect to. There's an air outlet there I can connect to. There's another one over here. And then there's a massive hose reel right over here. So I can unwind this and blow out the garage, get any crap out of here, connect impact, any other air tools I need, die grinder, whatever, to that. So having an air compressor is really nice if you're doing a lot of work around your house. Otherwise, electric tools have come a long way, battery powered tools. Let's see, whatever else here we've got. This is something I have yet to assemble. It's a rolling tool case. So Eileen bought me this with that creeper over there, but this goes on wheels and you can sit on the top. It's a cushion and roll around with, 10 mil sockets, because you're probably losing them everywhere inside of there. So that I'm looking forward to putting together. Other than that, this is all just kind of storage. These came with the house, and I've filled all this stuff with, some of this stuff is just general house stuff, but tons of N54 parts. I've got oil for days in here with distilled water, oil filters. All that stuff is just filled with N54 parts back in here. Believe it or not, this little belt sander comes in really handy a lot of the time. When you just need to shave the edge off of something. Having a good torch, that's really helpful. And then fire extinguisher, because you never know what happens. Sometimes I bring this in the car with me to any events. And you might have noticed some parts I've had sitting here. If you've made it this far in the video, first of all, congrats, because you're just listening to me talk. But this device right here, Draggy, some of you might have heard about this. I just picked one up from Burger Motorsports, and this thing is badass. It's basically a V-Box GPS tracker just for a better price, and it's a lot easier interface. So that's going to be a separate video, but now you guys will be able to compare how fast your car is with mine using this device if you have one. And I'm going to post up my 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, 1/2 mile, 0 to 60, 60 to 130, etc. pulls just using this. So that's a huge lifesaver. Here's some axles. You might have noticed this should be on there like that. I went to the drag strip in the car and sheared an axle in half again. So I've done that before. I threw another stock one in the car just to get it back on the road. But I am thinking about getting some upgraded axles. I don't know if any of you guys have had luck with M Factory axles or the drive shaft shop. Still almost got it wrong. DSS axles. I also still have a stock diff in this thing. So I'm thinking about getting an M Factory LSD. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on all that stuff. And if you didn't notice already in the video of me driving, the stock shifter assembly is out of the car, and I have a new RTD shifter assembly in the car. And this thing is just badass. I'm gonna do a separate video on that as you know, by itself, just because that's how awesome it is. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I'm sure I'm forgetting something in this garage. Oh, this is nice in the winter. If you don't have a heater, getting one, especially if you live in northern states like I do. This is wired up to 220 volt. This garage is wired for 220, so I can have a welder in here. That's about one of the only things I don't have, aside from potentially getting a lift for this area. But yeah, you turn that on in the winter and this place gets toasty real quick. That's a lifesaver. But otherwise, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but the white walls are nice to keep everything bright in here. This floor was coated with something at some point. That wasn't my doing. It's starting to flake up in a few spots. I thought about laying something else down, tile or a new coating or something like that, but not at the top of my to-do list. So if you've made it this far in the video, thumbs up for that, just because at that point, I don't know, you guys must be interested in something. But I have more videos coming. This past weekend I did some 6th Street racing. Finally got the car lined up with some fast cars in this area. So when it was on stock turbos, I had no problem finding guys around 300, 400 horsepower. But once you get to this level, it's like a whole new breed of cars comes out, and I did some street racing with some pretty fast cars. So that's going to be the next video, and that's going to be dropping soon because I already got the footage and I just got to put it together. So until next time, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I'd love to hear your guys' garage setups. Let me know what's working good for you. Let me know how you guys do it in a shop or garage. But for now, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.